What's going down, guys? It's your boy Regular Zig, back at it again, doing the thing, letting them hang, playing the tracks, letting them bang. On this episode, we're going to be doing Akala, Fire in the Booth Part 1. I did Fire in the Booth Part 4 a couple days ago, was really impressed. This is the first time I'm discovering Akala. This is the first time I'm really discovering Fire in the Booth. So I'm planning on going through a lot of these little tapes and doing my reaction to them. So anyways, on today's chopping block, we're doing Akala, Fire in the Booth, Part 1. Let's get it.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yo. Okay, yo.
And I guess this was recorded in 2011, so about 10 years old.
Yo.
I like you. You're like a tiger.
Yes, I grew up on a dole in a single parent family. Been through a little bit of tragedy. Yes, I was around drugs and violence before the day that I started secondary. That's part of it, not half of it. Get the picture, the rest ain't necessary. Growing up, got a little caught up. That ain't even half of my life. Also given the knowledge of self, that is all we actually need to survive. If you saw me, age 9, reading Malcolm, just fine. Teachers still treated me stupid. Students that couldn't speak English, they put me in groups with. The irony is, some of the first man to give me schooling, you were called youngsters. I already explained that we know what the truth is. They used to say don't be like me. Yeah, I got a name and dough on the street. Nighttime comes, I can't sleep. It's the part that rappers don't speak. We don't hit the road cause we're thugs. Don't come out the room, wanna sell drugs. If we got the right guidance and love, would we fight people just like us? How could I knock the hustle to get by? How do you think I ate as a child?
So he's saying basically he did grow up on the rough side of town and had hardships in his family. Before secondary school, shit was pretty rough, but that's only part of the story. His role models were gangsters and thugs. He was reading Malcolm X by second grade. So you got an 8-year-old kid reading revolutionary material, being guided by gangsters, living in a impoverished part of the community. Is kind of what I heard.
Judge no one, done many things wrong. Just don't boast about it in songs, but listen to my older bars. I was just as confused as you probably are, but you...
Now he's talking about, not spitting the real shit on the track because that shit could be used against you.
When you learn, travel by how do you think I ate as a child? Judge no one, done many things wrong. Just don't boast about it in songs, but listen to my older bars. I was just as confused as you probably are, but you grow when you learn. Travel cut once you...
I might have misspoke. So it sounds like he has a reputation for being obviously very conscious and being an activist. But he's saying if you go back and listen to my early stuff, I was just as confused and I didn't know what my message was yet either. And was probably talking about things that weren't in line with what his values are at this point in time. So.
Many man get caught. One too many man that could have been doctors, end up spending the whole life boxed up. You learn if you study, so set out just to make them money. No cover, it's all about getting poor people to fight with one another. So it's logical that us killing our brothers, dissing our mothers is right in line with the dominant philosophy of our time. But time is a cycle, not a line. Comes back around, you regain your mind. You be ready for the energy I challenge in my rhyme. Remedy the pedigree, the jeopardy of your mind. When the world's this leverage is a crime. We can...
Okay, so that kind of goes back to what I was talking about when I was doing the reaction to Fire in the Booth 4. He talks about how, the upper class will take the poor people, get them, give them guns and give them whatnot in their burrows. Then they get them to fight and kill each other off. And then they make money off it and they dispose of these people. And they make it cool to be stupid. You know what I mean? So it keeps the culture and the classes down and keeps them warring and killing each other. Meanwhile, the people that are provoking, allowing it to happen are people that could have saved it. You know what I mean? They're not going to intervene because they don't want to have any part in that. They really don't care about it.
We can all fight with the brothers over crumbs. Harder to fight the one who makes guns. We can all talk get $2. Harder to be the one who seeks knowledge. If we understood economics with no money's nothing, think nothing of it. Money is a means to get wealth, not the wealth itself. And don't get confused, far from broke. All that you see me do I own, but I won't hang what I make around my neck. I know from where that the diamonds came, but I do literally own a library that definitely costs more than your chain and business.
So he said that having money isn't necessarily wealth. And that he said even though he got wealth, you ain't going to see him hanging it around his neck because he knows where the diamonds come from. He's talking about blood diamonds. and now it sounds like, I think he just said something about books and libraries. So he's going to talk about, you know, the wealth of knowledge, probably. I'm assuming.
I know from where that the diamonds came, but I do literally own a library that definitely costs more than your chain. And businesses and property, far from starving, I eat quite properly, and I don't care. Just said it for the kids who need to know you're not broke to listen. Don't know an asset from a liability, they've never been shown nor told the difference. So they don't change situation. Richest man in Britain is Asian, that's significant, not coincidence. Asian people build businesses not by flossing, going out shopping, giving up the culture for everyone's profit. Who runs Bollywood? Indian people. Who runs our ish? So we shake our ass and
So he said the richest person in Britain is actually Asian. And the reason that is that Asian people aren't going out and flossing. They're building businesses and they're investing in their businesses. They're going to spend their money saving and building rather than trying to be flashy, which obviously America has, you know, an issue with. That's just how we roll. And we were born of Britain, you know what I mean? So a long time ago, it was British. And if you take time and then you kind of like shrink it down, really it's not that long, you know what I mean? Things that seem like a really long amount of time really aren't that large of an amount of time. So, yeah.
Dance as if racism just upped and vanished, but has it? No, it's right on course. You're beaten so bad you're trained to ignore. Let me not just make sweeping statements. Give me a second, I'll explain it. For small amounts of drug possession, there's more black people in jail in America than there is for rape and armed robbery and murder all put together.
He said there's more black people in jail in America for drugs than there is for rape, armed robbery, and murder put together. That was 10 years ago, but I'd say that's definitely probably an accurate statement.
Let me not just make sweeping statements. Give me a second, I'll explain it. For small amounts of drug possession, there's more black people in jail in America than there is for rape and armed robbery and murder all put together. You can say they're just locking up thugs. Imagine they're in prison, every middle class kid that had ever held drugs. Oh, that's right, that.
And he said, now imagine if they put every middle class kid that ever did drugs in jail. And we don't have enough prison space for that, I'm sure.
For rape and armed
but they're trying to build it.
robbery and murder all put together. You can say they're just locking up thugs. Imagine they're in prison, every middle class kid that had ever held drugs. Oh, that's right, that'd be your kids. Bigger than that, what is going on with this? Prison in America's private business. They get paid $50K per year per inmate by the state. Just wait. Also,
see that? They get paid $50K per year, and it's probably a lot more now per prisoner that they imprison. So it's big business, and I think, you know, this has been brought to the light. I know that this has been brought to the light more recently, but, you know, at the time that he was spitting this, you know, it was kind of just like one of those conspiracy theory sort of things that was like, you know, below the mainstream thought process, you know what I mean? It was kind of the thing like people that smoke blunts sit around and talk about, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's an issue, bro. It's a huge issue.
So legally are allowed to use their prison inmates as slaves, cheap slave labor, big corporations, they come out of jail when they can't get a job. So when we celebrate going to jail, we are literally celebrating enslavement. Add to that.
So now he's talking about how not only are they getting paid to jail the prisoners, but then they use the prisoners for pretty much free work, and then they charge people to use the prisoners as work. You know what I mean? And they pay them less. So the jail's making all that money. You know, the corporations are making all that money, and the prisoners are being used as slaves because they like to smoke weed.
That the hood that you live in.
Or some other drug.
Engineered social condition that breeds crime by design. Where do you think you get your man? You can say that they're just black, but I like to deal with facts. In the 1920s, you would have found in America black towns, prospering centers of economics to education to make you proud. But some people couldn't bear that the former slaves would not just lie down to the KKK and other hate groups. Burn those towns to the ground, killing hundreds if it ain't understood. You think you were always living in the hood? It's only been 60 years since the.
So he was saying back in the 20s, you know, that or 40s, whatever he said. Okay, basically there were black towns and they were like upstanding cities, but there were groups of people who happened to be white, you know, because that was what the predominant class was at the time, that didn't like to see black people have a city. They wanted to see them as slaves, and they couldn't get past the fact that they had been emancipated. So they burned their cities to the ground and they took everything and, pillaged them basically. And they were just as American as anybody. But obviously at the time, you know what I mean? They didn't like to see that. They just wanted to see black people enslaved. And, that's just what the thought process was at that point in time. And he's saying it wasn't that long ago, that was only like 60 years ago. And that's valid.
Hung blacks and burn 'em and
Let's go back here.
economics to education to make you proud. But some people couldn't bear that the former slaves would not just slide down to the KKK and other hate groups. Burn those towns to the ground, killing hundreds if it ain't understood. You think you were always living in the hood? It's only been 60 years since the hung blacks and burn 'em, and that was so cool. They were your baskets, picnic baskets, even gave kids the day off school. Go see a lynching, have a picnic, it's fun to watch the little monkeys die. And people act a little dysfunctional. You wanna pretend that you don't know why. If your colour means you can be killed and you're powerless to get justice about it, is it difficult to figure out how you would then end up feeling about it? And that ain't excuses, just dealing with the roots of abuses that make a reality. We're a generation of young men speak of ourselves as dirt casually. That's America, this Britain. Something similar, some different. In this country, the first enslaved were the working class. What's changed? Worse jobs, worse conditions. Most.
So he's saying, I'm breaking down America. This is Britain. So what's different? And there's a few things that are the same. There's a few things that are different, And then he's going into who's enslaved, and it's the middle class right now. I think that's what he's saying.
Look where you live and yet you go to the pub. Friday night you will fight with a guy, don't know what for, won't fight with a guy. Shooting a tight who send your kids to die in a war. They don't send the kids to the rich or the politician, it's your kids. The poor British get the same to go and die in a foreign land for these wars that you don't understand. Yeah, they say you are British and that lovely patriotism they feed you, but in reality you have more in common with immigrants than with your leaders. I know both sides of my family, black and white, a fed ghetto mentality, reality in this system. Poor people are dirt regardless of shade. But with that said, let's not pretend that everything is the same. When our grandparents came here to Britain, if you had a criminal record you couldn't get in. That ain't protecting from all of the stupid abuses they will be living. Kicked in the teeth, stabbed in the street, many times firebombed our houses, put feces through our letterbox, and of course the cops did so much about it daily up to the 80s.
He said when his grandparents came in, if you were a criminal you couldn't get in, but then they were abused and kicked and prodded as if they were criminals because they were immigrants. And that same thing happened in America. Don't get it twisted. Like they could be the same synonymous story, because it sounds like, I know for a fact every like immigrant group that has come to America has went through the same shit. And then as they kind of got some respect and a new group came along, then that new group got the shit, even from people that got the shit before. Because that's just the way the cycle goes. And but this is a hell of a history lesson. My man Akala is a professor. They should just call him the professor.
People spitting on my palm because I was a baby. But of course, that has had no effect on why today we are crazy. And none of this was for any good reason. They were just dark and grieving to ease the guilt now for all of this treatment. Constant stereotypes are needed. So if I celebrate how big that my kid, bricks that are flipping, clips that are sticking, chicks that I'm hitting, I'm playing my position. But if I teach a kid to be a mathematician, messing with the schism, how they gonna fill a prison when materialism is no longer our religion? What do you think we got now in Britain? Just like America, private prison for profit. That mean when your kids go jail, people make money off it. So keep environments that breed crime, build more jails at the same time. Market badness to the kids in the rhymes. Long as rich kids ain't dying, it's fine. Get them to the point where some are so lost they actually believe if they don't celebrate killing themselves off, that it's because they're soft. Was Malcolm soft? Was Marley soft? Tell me, was Marcus Garvey soft? Well, was Muhammad Ali soft? Nah, I think not, but they want us to think that the road is cool. Being
Damn, boy. So he's saying the system wants you to hate yourself, and you hate yourself because you can get in prison, and you're getting in prison because it's for profit. And then he's saying, the leaders that came before, the Malcolm X, the Marcus Garveys, those people weren't soft. And why do you think you're soft?
on board is all we could do. We don't control.
Right? I think that's what he's saying. I'm reacting to this. I haven't really broke this down and studied it. So if I'm off, I'm kind of winging it by my coattails.
To the point where some are so lost they actually believe if they don't celebrate killing themselves off, that it's because they're soft. Was Malcolm soft? Was Marley soft? Tell me, was Marcus Garvey soft? Well, was Muhammad Ali soft? Nah, I think not, but they want us to think that the road is cool. Being on road is all we could do. We don't control the wholesale production, so who benefits from us moving the food? All thinking there's no way out of road life, but Malcolm X used to hustle on the roadside. And Marcus Garvey organised more than 6 million people with no Facebook or Twitter. Why is it something you can't eat? One of my own homeboys did a 10 straight in the boxing yard. Now what's he doing? Passing his doctorate. Don't tell me that it's too hard. Who trained you to believe you're inferior? Sungbo Ebedo in Nigeria are the remains of an ancient moat dug 1,000 years ago. 20 meters wide, 70 down.
So here he's saying basically, man, you need to strive for greatness, and that, you know, people get trained to not strive for greatness, and they just settle for their station in life as this like lower class person, and that you should not do that, that you should always strive for greatness, you know, and that you should have the self-confidence, and then have the passion, and then have the work ethic to like pursue these things, and then get your doctorate, you know, get your degree, build your business, do whatever it is that you want to do, and that all is possible, but you got to go ahead and do it. And you can't look at yourself as inferior, as if it's not possible, as if you didn't get opportunities. You got to make the most of your opportunities, and sometimes you got to make opportunities. And there's going to be resistance, man. There's going to be people that are going to hate. There's going to be roadblocks that you're going to have to overcome in order to get there. You know, you're going to have to get the paperwork. You're going to have to get the permits. You're going to have to get whatever it is you got to get, but you need to go do that. I think that's what he's saying.
Yard. Now what's he doing? Passing his doctorate. Don't tell me that it's too hard. Who trained you to believe you're inferior? Sungbo Ebedo in Nigeria are the remains of an ancient moat dug 1,000 years ago. 20 meters wide, 70 down. Round the remains of an ancient town that's 400 square miles around. 400 square miles around. Please don't believe me. It was a documentary on BBC, but we ain't studying history. Too busy watching MTV, and MTV said we're platinum. Now everybody wanna go and wear platinum, and MTV said pop magnums.
We're platinum.
Yeah. Now everybody wanna go and pop magnum. If MTV said drink prune juice, you will start hearing that in tune soon. Hey, today I wore my Cartier. Is it now more important what I got to say? Oh, and I drive a Mercedes, by the way, so everybody listen to what I got to say. Does that make you all happy? But if my head's still nappy, think for myself.
Yeah, he's basically just going at the throat at mumble rappers and people that talk about bullshit and they really have no substance to their message. But you know, there's, you know, me personally, I think, you know, there's a place and a time for everything. You know what I mean? Not everybody can be an activist, and not everybody is called upon to do that. You know what I mean? I think it is important to get the knowledge. You know, I lack in the knowledge department in a lot of things, but when something comes across my mind that I need to investigate, I try to put forth the effort to do that, you know? And, but yeah, right now he's basically attacking people that ain't really got nothing to say. They just up there, you know, putting art out to make some money.
So some mad at me, but on the mic ain't not one bad as me. All of this here's good for the rhymes. Put us in the same place at the same time, and it's clear to everybody I'm out of my mind. Some of these guys are running out of their rhymes. Clear to everybody that has got ears. I'm the guy that they just might fear, that they want to get near, but they can't have a peer all day. I'm hard liquor, you just like beer. Front on the kid for another 5 years. Come to my shows and some criteria mean that much to them. It's a movement. I don't speak for myself, but a unit. Black, white.
He said, this is a movement. I don't speak for myself. It's a unit. So he's not just speaking for him. He's speaking for all his people and for the message, you know, that they collectively have brought together. They're trying to create, you know, a revolution of sorts.
Come to my shows and some criteria mean that much to them. It's a movement. I don't speak for myself, but a unit. Black, white, man, woman, anyone who respects truth we put in. Dudes are like no dinner, we're just pudding. Yeah, you're sweet, but no substance pudding. You can never ever be with a level on. Our songs get played out there in Lebanon. We speak for the people properly, not for the old.
Said y'all could never be on our level. Our shit gets played out in Lebanon. Yeah.
Woman, anyone who respects truth we put in. Dudes are like no dinner, we're just pudding. Yeah, you're sweet, but no substance pudding. You can never ever be with a level on. Our songs get played out there in Lebanon. We speak for the people properly, not for the old fat guys in offices and the girls love him. Ain't fair, you can't even be bothered to comb his hair. Anyway, that's enough kissing my own ass. Back to the more important task of being so shower. I got half the hood screaming, knowledge is power. And I ain't saying that'll change rap Damn, but I do know this for a fact. Right now there's a youth on your block with his hands on his face screwed up. So he don't care, don't give a that he won't let nobody call his bluff, but the words go in. Open your shackles, once that's happened, there is no going backwards. You start to see what is really happening. Who the enemy you should be attacking is. So read, stuck on the block, read.
Yeah, there he goes, man. What he's doing is provoking thought and getting people to start thinking outside of the box and imploring everybody to get knowledgeable about what's going on and not to just like take it for face value what you get fed. Don't just watch the newscast and then believe whatever, you know, this reporter said or this reporter said or this friend said or that friend said. Go find out for yourself. You know what I mean? Arm yourself with knowledge and then you'll be prepared for the task. As a byproduct of that, you'll wind up leading people because you'll probably be more knowledgeable than a lot of people because most people don't even have that much energy. You know, they don't have that much energy or drive to find out what's actually happening. So, yeah, get your wealth up.
Sitting in the box, read, don't let them say what you can achieve. Because when people are enslaved, one of the first things they do is stop them reading. Because it is well understood that intelligent people will take their freedom. Because if we knew our power, we would understand we can't be held down. If we knew our power, we would not elevate not one of these clowns. If we knew our power, we wouldn't get arrogant when we get 2 pennies. If we knew our power, we would see what everybody sees, that we're rich already. But never mind, MCs go run for your mummy. I'm hungry, I run for my tummy. That's enough, back to worshiping money. I'm off, back to the study.
He said, that's all. Back to worship and money. I'm going to go back to worship and study. Boy.
But never mind, MCs go run for your mummy. I'm hungry, I run for my tummy. That's enough, back to worship and money. I'm off, back to the study. Man!
I love how Charlie Sloth, man, that's madness. It's crazy, man.
Burn the booth down, man! 6! And someone pass me that extinguisher! Oh! Oh! Hey, brother!
Yeah.
That mic
That's
has
just
been
dope.
burned.
Illustrate Records. Now that is what you call fire in the booth!
That was fire in the booth, boy. Yeah, man, that's what I got. I'm going to go ahead and edit this one down. I'm actually going to record another one. I'm going to do part 2. Then I'm going to edit both of those and drop them. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. This your boy Zig signing off. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave a comment down in the section. I am getting y'all's little requests. I'm going to try and get to them as soon as I can. But, you know, it's a process. So, anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in. Holla.